Hi, so today we're going to be doing the water cycle in a bag. So we've learned a little bit about the water cycle. We know that a body of water, whether it is the ocean, rivers, lakes, ponds, or even a puddle, they go through a process called evaporation, where they go from liquid water to gaseous water. So, and we remember we call those vapors. Liquid water is then changed to gas. This gas, through that process, it is called evaporation. As time goes, the water particles, as gas, they start to cool down, and through this process, they go through condensation. During that process, they do turn into clouds, and as those clouds become heavier with the water vapor droplets that are turning into, well, liquid, they're turning from gas to liquid through this process, it is called condensation. Once those droplets get heavy enough, they begin to fall as precipitation. And the main forms of precipitation is rain and snow. We do know that sometimes we get sleet, hail, ice. Once precipitation has fallen, it then hits the ground and it will either get absorbed into the ground, and as our fifth graders have learned, they can be stored into something called an aquifer, which is just a huge storage underground of water. Maybe not huge, but it's a storage of water underground. Or it will end up flowing down as runoff into rivers, streams, where it's then going to go through this process again if it wasn't evaporated from the puddles or during the runoff. So it just continues to go through that process of evaporation, condensation, precipitation, runoff. So we are going to observe the water cycle in a bag. So the activity that we're going to do is actually very simple. You should be able to do this on your own, except for you might need help to do one part, and I'll let you know when that is. So you're going to first need a Ziploc baggie. I grabbed a sandwich bag. You're going to need some tape, a Sharpie. I happen to have a gold one here at my house, or I have this fine tip black one. I'm hoping that this will work. If not, I'm going to use this. This part is just fun. You don't necessarily need to do it. A 1/4 cup water, which if you look, a 1/4 cup is right here. And I've pre-filled this with a 1/4 cup of water. As you fill a 1/4 cup of water, use warm to hot water for this activity. If you have blue or green food dye, you can use that, and that's another item. I don't have food dye, so I'm leaving that step out. If you have it, great, you'll be able to, it's kind of fun, you'll see the water a little bit better. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw on our bag using our Sharpie. So we're going to draw a sun, we're going to draw a cloud, and we're going to draw some water. So take your Sharpie. If you happen to have a marker, you can try using that too, and that's fine. So go ahead and make your drawing. When you're done, come back. Okay, so I'm back. You should be back now. And as you can see, I drew a sun here. I have a cloud there. And I have some water down there. The next step that we're going to do is you're going to go fill your measuring cup with a 1/4 cup of water. if you have the blue or the green food dye, now is your time to go ahead and put 1 drop in your water and then mix it. You can easily mix it just by swishing it around and just make sure that it's evenly put in there. Once you're done doing that, this is where you might need help. So you can grab like a big brother, a big sister, an adult who is there with you. And what you're going to do is you're going to open your bag. And you're going to take your water and you're going to carefully pour it into your bag. Once your water is in your bag, you're going to close it off. Make sure that it is actually closed because you do not want water to spill out of here. And also you want to ensure that it is airtight so then there's no problems with our experiment. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are now going to put it in a window. Okay, we're going to use the heat from the sun, which as you can tell, it's pretty sunny outside right now. So we're going to use a window that has really good sunlight so then you can sit back and watch what's going to happen. This is where you're going to use your tape. I'm going to go ahead, before I put it there, put a piece on either end. So there's one right there. And one right there. As you can see, I'm using this window here. If you don't have tape to tape your bag up like this, you could set it on the windowsill that is up here so it is still getting sun coming in and hitting your bag to make it warm. And then the next set of directions is just to sit there and wait to see what happens. So we will wait. So 5 minutes have passed and I wanted to give you a close-up view of what is going on. As you can see, it doesn't really look like there's too much going on yet. So I'm going to set a timer and I'm going to wait another 5 minutes to see what happens. So we'll see you right back. So I'm going to replace that water, cold water, with warm water. I'm going to refill my bag. And you can already see that there's stuff happening. As you can see, it's got its water down here. And then because of the heat, it's already got this mist that is forming. So we're going to observe for a little bit longer to see what happens. So what happened in our experiment today? Well, when we put our warm to hot water in the bag, it was already changing phases. It was going from its liquid phase to its gaseous phase. So it was creating evaporation through that phase, and then as it cooled off, it started to go into condensation, which we saw on the bag in that form of the mist. Now, we saw water droplets on our bag, which would be considered like the precipitation. And I don't know if you saw it, but about right here on our bag, there was a droplet that began to fall. You could see that kind of like as the precipitation. You can think of it possibly as the runoff. So how does the water cycle affect our weather? As we saw, when things are condensing, it's forming like a mess, which you can see that if it's in a great number, like a lot of water being evaporated, it's going to create clouds, which, as we know, as the water droplets get heavier and heavier, is going to create precipitation. So this is one way that you can think of how the water cycle affects our weather. I hope that you enjoyed this mini lesson today and that you learned something about the water cycle and how it can affect the weather. Boys, I hope that you have a great rest of your day and know that we miss you. Bye.